Over the past 1,265 years, France has had 79 kings rule. While the average reign of these kings, emperors and presidents is only 16 years, the leaders on this list have a total reign of 14 centuries. Join Trip 14 to learn about the 10 most important figures in French history. Charlemagne, 771 to 800, 800 to 814. Also known as Charles the Great and Father of Europe, this medieval emperor ruled much of the western part of the continent from 768 until his death. In 771, he became king of the Franks, a Germanic tribe of present-day Belgium, France, Luxembourg, the Netherlands and Germany. His mission was to unite all Germans in one kingdom and follow Christianity. Made Holy Roman Emperor by Pope Leo III in 800, he advocated for the Carolingian Renaissance, a European intellectual and cultural renaissance. Hugh Capet, 987 to 996. This 10th-century king was the first of the Franks from the House of Capet, a dynasty that at its widest had 36 kings to rule over France and dozens of others across Europe. He is also a seventh-generation descendant of Charlemagne. Capet inherited a large amount of land in Ile-de-France from his father, which helped secure his hold on the throne. He made Paris the center of power, and for this reason most historians consider him the founder of modern France. Louis IX, 1226–70. France's only canonized king, Saint Louis, was monarch of the country from the age of 12 until his death, although his mother, Blanche of Castile, ruled throughout his youth. He was a reformer and promoter of French royal justice, banning corporal punishment, limiting private wars and presumption of innocence in criminal proceedings. In addition, inspired by Catholic devotion, he punished blasphemy, gambling, usury, prostitution, and expanded the reach of the Inquisition. Francis I, 1515–47. This patron of the arts brought about the French Renaissance, drawing artists from Italy to work on the Château de Chambord. Among those who came was Leonardo da Vinci, the author of the famous Mona Lisa painting. Other important cultural changes during his reign were the rise of absolute monarchy, the spread of humanism and Protestantism, and the discovery of the New World. For his role in the development of standardized French, he became known as Le Père Idosystemeur des Lettres. Henry IV, 1589–1610. The good King Henry was originally an unpopular king. Baptized Catholic but converted to Protestantism, he fought side by side later in the French Wars of Religion. For 4 years on the throne, he kept his faith but then had no choice but to convert to ensure peace. A pragmatic, tolerant politician, he guaranteed religious freedom with the Edict of Nantes of 1598, ending a period of interfederal warfare. He was assassinated by fanatical Catholic François Ravaillac on the Rue de la Ferronnerie in Les Halles. Louis XIV, 1643–1715. Louis the Great or Sun King reigned the longest of any European king in history at 72 years and 110 days. During the dictatorship on the continent, he continued the work of his predecessors of creating a centralized state governed from the capital, eradicating the remnants of feudalism and forcing the aristocracy to had to move to the Palace of Versailles. A lover of war of all kinds, France's arguably most powerful ruler repealed the Ordinance of Nantes that had protected religious minorities for more than a century, forcing them to flee or reform. Mass leadership. Louis XVI, 1774–92. Louis XVI tried to reform France in line with Enlightenment ideals, but the aristocracy opposed the changes he made, such as deregulation of the grain market, which had a negative impact. To the middle and lower classes. After the storm of the Bastille, the king and his wife Marie Antoinette became the tyranny of ancient regime. Convicted of treason, he was beheaded on January 21, 1793, under the name Citizen Louis Capet. As the only French king ever executed, his death ended 1,000 years of continuous monarchy rule. Napoleon I, 1804–14, 1815. Napoleon Bonaparte rose to fame during the French Revolution and the Revolutionary Wars as a formidable military and political leader. He staged a coup in November 1799 and became the first leader of the Republic. Encouraged, he elevated his status to the first emperor of France in 1804. For the next 10 years, He dominated European and global affairs, waging and winning wars across his expanding empire, which collapsed in 1815. Whether he is considered a man of merit or not is controversial. His campaigns are still studied to this day. Napoleon III, 1852–70. As president of the Second French Republic, Louis Napoleon Bonaparte was the first to be elected by universal suffrage. After the coup d'état of 1851, he became the country's second emperor on December 2, 1852, the 48th anniversary of his uncle's coronation. Renowned for his brutality, his regime eventually took on the title of the Free Empire. Best known for the extensive reconstruction of Paris carried out by Baron Haussmann, he also modernized the banking system, expanded the railway infrastructure, encouraged the construction of the Suez Canal, pioneered in modern agriculture, increased European trade, carried out labor reforms and developed public and women's education. Charles de Gaulle, 1959–69. One of the French statesmen of the 20th century, de Gaulle was the leader of Free France from 1940 to 1944, head of the Provisional Government of the French Republic from 1944 to 1946, and 18-day president of France in the Fifth Republic. He founded in 1958. In his speech on June 18, 1940, he implored the French people to continue the war against Nazi Germany, and then the leader could not call for resistance. Frustrated with partisan politics after the war, he retired in 1946 only to be brought back to deal with the Algerian War. His policies as president strengthened France's independence and standing in the world.